Have you ever looked at an old revolver and wondered when it quietly became worth more than your first car? Across America, prices for classic wheel guns are spiking faster than anyone expected, and in today's video, we're uncovering those revolvers that collectors, shooters, and investors are chasing before they vanish from reach. And stay tuned, because near the end, I will reveal the single revolver dealers are buying right now, the one most likely to double in price before next year. Number 20, Smith & Wesson Model 3 Russian Model Variant. The Model 3 Russian isn't just rare, it's foundational. Developed in the 1870s for the Imperial Russian military, this break-action revolver helped establish S&W's global reputation. Chambered in .44 Russian, it featured a distinctive spur trigger guard and a top break design that was revolutionary at the time. What makes these revolvers special is their historic footprint. They saw use across Europe, Asia, and the American West, often in the hands of officers and mercenaries alike. Surviving examples are scarce, especially those with matching parts and Cyrillic markings. Auction houses now list clean specimens between $2,500 and $5,000, depending on provenance. And if you think that's rare, the next revolver came from a company whose designs still confuse collectors today. Number 19, Merwin and Hulbert Revolvers. Merwin and Hulbert didn't last long, but their revolvers became some of the most mechanically complex and visually unique firearms of the 19th century. Known for their twist-and-pull barrel system, these revolvers allowed users to eject spent shells while retaining live rounds, a brilliant feature that collectors still admire. Produced in the 1870s and 1880s, they came in various calibers like .44-40 and .38 M&H. What drives value today is their low survival rate and intricate design. Clean examples routinely break the $3,000 mark, with nickel-plated or factory-engraved variants doubling that. These guns look like they belong in a museum, and many already do. But the revolver up next, it wasn't built for show, it was built to survive empire collapse. Number 18, Webley & Scott Top Breaks. If you've ever seen a British officer in a war film, chances are they were holding a Webley. These top break revolvers, especially the Mark VI and .455 Webley, served through World War I and into World War II. Known for their ruggedness and distinctive break-open action, they ejected all spent casings at once. Webleys became battlefield legends. Many were later converted to fire .45 ACP, which hurts collector value, but original, unaltered models are now spiking in price. Clean examples have jumped from $300 to over $1,000 in the last few years. And rarer marks or unit stamp guns demand even more. But if you think military surplus drives value, wait until you see the Spanish Magnum climbing under the radar. Number 17, Astra Model 44. Made in Spain during the 1980s, the Astra Model 44 was often dismissed as a budget magnum until collectors realized how scarce clean examples really are. Chambered in .41 Magnum, .44 Magnum, and .45 Colt, it closely resembled the Smith & Wesson in-frame, but offered European flair and serious firepower at a lower price. Built with surprising quality, tight lockup, and adjustable sights, it quietly built a cult following. Today, as imports have dried up and survivors dwindle, prices are rising fast. What once sold for under $400 now brings $900 or more, especially for boxed examples or rare calibers. But the next revolver is not far in at all, and it helped train generations of American shooters. Number 16, Smith & Wesson K-frame target models. The K-frame target revolvers, like the Model 17, 18, and original K-22, were never flashy, but they were flawless. Built with tight tolerances, crisp triggers, and fully adjustable sights, these .22 long rifle revolvers became go-to choices for competitive shooters and small game hunters. What makes them especially valuable today is their connection to an era of deep bluing, pinned barrels, and true craftsmanship. Early 5-screw models, pre-model designations, or boxed examples with matching grips now command $800 to $1,500, depending on condition. Even shooter-grade versions are inching upward due to training demand. But the Revolver up next doesn't fire .22s, and when it was new, it was anything but gentle on the wrist. Number 15, Ruger Single 6 Old Model. First introduced in 1953, the Ruger Single 6 was Bill Ruger's answer to the affordable rimfire revolver market. These single-action .22 long rifle revolvers were built to mimic the feel of a full-size centerfire wheel gun, making them perfect for training, plinking, or small game. The old model Single 6, made before 1973, features the original 3-screw action, now discontinued and prized by collectors. Early production guns with flat loading gates or rare serial numbers have seen significant value jumps. A decade ago, they hovered around $300. Today, expect $650 and up for clean examples, with boxed or convertible versions fetching $900 or more. These were once beginner guns, but in the collector world, they're no longer entry-level. Number 14, Ruger Security 6, Speed 6, Service 6 family. Ruger's first line of double-action revolvers debuted in the 1970s with the Security 6, followed by the Speed 6 and Service 6. Built like tanks and priced competitively, they became staples for law enforcement, military, and civilian use. Chambered mostly in .357 Magnum, with variants in .38 Special and 9mm, these revolvers earned a reputation for strength and simplicity. Discontinued in 1988 to make way for the GP100, they're now being rediscovered by shooters and collectors alike. Stainless models, short barrels, and DAO configurations command higher prices. While once overlooked as generic duty guns, they now fetch between $500 and $900 depending on condition and rarity. These are revolvers people regret selling and regret not buying when they were everywhere. Number 13, Colt Model 1855 Sidehammer Pocket Revolver. Also known as the Root Revolver, this was Colt's first solid-frame percussion revolver, designed by company engineer Elisha Root. Produced between 1855 and 1870, it featured a unique side-mounted hammer and spur trigger, giving it a distinct silhouette unlike anything else from the era. Chambered in 28, 31, and 36 calibers, it was primarily marketed as a compact personal defense gun. Its production run included several design changes, making certain variants particularly rare. Collectors value it not just for its age, but for its link to Colt's shift in firearms technology. Clean examples now range from $1,500 to $3,500, with factory-engraved pieces or matching boxes reaching much higher. It's a small revolver with serious historical weight. Number 12, Colt Police Positive. Introduced in 1905, the Colt Police Positive became a defining sidearm for American law enforcement in the early 20th century. Chambered in 32 and 38 Colt calibers and later 38 Special, it was compact, reliable, and easy to carry, making it a favorite among detectives and uniformed officers alike. The revolver featured Colt's positive lock safety mechanism to prevent accidental discharge, a forward-thinking feature at the time. Over 1 million were produced across several generations, but pristine early models are increasingly hard to find. Collectors chase pre-war production with high-condition, factory grips, and matching numbers. While used examples once sold for under $300, clean examples now regularly cross the $800 mark, with boxed variants climbing even higher. Number 11, Mateba Unica 6. The Mateba Unica 6 is one of the strangest revolvers ever mass-produced and one of the most collectible. Made in Italy during the 1990s, this semi-automatic revolver used recoil energy to rotate the cylinder and cock the hammer for the next shot. Chambered in .357 Magnum, .44 Magnum, and .454 Casull, It offered low felt recoil and futuristic styling. Its unique design included a barrel aligned with the bottom chamber for better muzzle control. Production was limited and sales were modest due to its unconventional nature and high price. But demand has surged in recent years, especially among sci-fi fans and collectors. To date, expect prices from $2,500 to $4,000, with boxed models and rare calibers pushing well beyond that. Number 10, Colt Open Top Model 1871-1872. The Colt Open Top bridged the gap between percussion revolvers and modern cartridge-firing sidearms. Introduced in the early 1870s, it was Colt's first revolver designed specifically for metallic cartridges. Chambered in .44 Henry with no top strap and a flat ejector housing, the design echoed the percussion revolvers that came before it, but marked a clear evolution in handgun development. Fewer than 7,000 were produced before the more famous 1873 single-action Army replaced it. This short production run makes surviving examples incredibly valuable. Original open tops in good condition regularly sell for $3,000 to $7,000, with engraved or factory-documented models commanding even more. It's a critical piece of Colt history, and one slipping further out of reach each year. Number 9, Colt Single-Action Army First Generation. The Colt Single-Action Army, also known as the Peacemaker, is perhaps the most iconic revolver ever made. First introduced in 1873 and produced until 1941 in its first generation, it became the sidearm of choice for cowboys, outlaws, soldiers, and lawmen across the West. Chambered in a wide variety of calibers, the most popular was the .45 Colt. Its balance, simplicity, and ruggedness made it legendary, and now deeply collectible first-gen models with original finish, matching serials, and factory letters easily command $5,000 to $20,000. With rare configurations reaching six figures, these revolvers aren't just guns, they're American relics. And as the market dries up, first-gen SAAs are becoming trophies for serious collectors. Number 8, Colt King Cobra. Launched in 1986, the Colt King Cobra was Colt's answer to the demand for a heavy-duty double-action .357 Magnum revolver. Built on a beefed-up version of the medium-sized V-frame, it offered improved durability over the earlier Trooper series while maintaining excellent balance and smooth action. Available in stainless or blued finishes and various barrel lengths, the King Cobra found a niche among law enforcement and civilian shooters alike. But it was discontinued in 1988, and that's when collectors started paying attention. Early production models with 6-inch barrels or combat grips are now fetching between $1,200 and $2,000, depending on condition and originality. Limited runs and clean specimens have become highly desirable, and prices are climbing steadily year after year. Number 7, Ruger Blackhawk, early serials, convertible models. First introduced in 1955, the Ruger Blackhawk quickly earned a reputation for being a rugged, modern take on the classic single-action revolver. Chambered in popular calibers like .357 Magnum, .44 Magnum, and .45 Colt, it appealed to both cowboy action fans and serious shooters. Early flat-top models with 3-screw frames are now especially valuable, particularly those made before 1973 transfer bar design. Particularly those made before the 1973 transfer bar design. Even more sought after are the convertible versions that came with interchangeable cylinders for .45 ACP or 9mm. To date, early Blackhawks with low serial numbers or original boxes are pushing well past $1,200. Ruger's craftsmanship during this era was second to none, and collectors have started hoarding them before prices climb even higher. Number 6, Ruger Super Blackhawk. Introduced in 1959, the Ruger Super Blackhawk was purpose-built to handle the brute force of .44 Magnum, with a longer grip frame, unfluted cylinder, and heavy-duty construction. It was designed for hunters and handgun enthusiasts who wanted raw power in a reliable single-action platform. The early models, especially the 3-screw variants made before 1973, are now in high demand. Collectors pay close attention to barrel links, finish and roll marks, and boxed examples with original paperwork are especially valuable, while shooter-grade Super Blackhawks can still be found under $900. Early production guns in excellent condition regularly fetch $1,500 or more. As fewer clean specimens remain in circulation, prices continue to rise, especially for those in .44 Magnum with long barrels. Number 5. Ruger Redhawk, early variants, rare calibers. The Ruger Redhawk, launched in 1979, is one of the strongest double-action revolvers ever built. Designed to handle a steady diet of full-power .44 Magnum, it featured a robust frame, triple locking cylinder, and no side plate, all enhancing its durability. While standard Redhawks remain popular, early production models and those chambered in rarer calibers like .41 Magnum or .357 Magnum have become hot commodities among collectors. Unique barrel links, low serial numbers, and stainless steel finishes from the 1980s command top dollar. A clean Redhawk that once sold for under $600 now goes for $1,000 or more, and special editions push well past that. With continued interest in heavy revolvers and limited early production runs, Redhawks are rapidly climbing the collector ladder. Number 4. Smith & Wesson Triple Lock, first model .44 hand ejector. Released in 1908, the Smith & Wesson Triple Lock is a benchmark in revolver design. It earned its nickname from an additional third locking point on the crane, providing unmatched strength and alignment for its time. Chambered in .44 Special and built on the end frame, this revolver featured deep bluing, target sights, and a silky smooth action that made it popular with competitive shooters and discerning collectors. Despite its superior build, it was discontinued in 1915 due to manufacturing costs. Surviving examples, especially those in high condition or with factory letters, are now bringing $2,000 to $5,000, and sometimes more. The triple lock isn't just a revolver, it's a statement of precision, from a time when details truly mattered. Number 3. Colt Python. The Colt Python has become the crown jewel of double-action revolvers. Introduced in 1955 and originally marketed as a premium target-grade revolver, it was hand-fitted and tuned by Colt's top gunsmiths. Built on the I-frame and chambered in .357 Magnum, the Python gained a reputation for its mirror-like royal blue finish, vented rib barrel, and unbelievably smooth trigger. While production ended in 2005, prices for original Pythons have surged in recent years. Clean models from the 1970s and 1980s now command $3,500 to $6,000, and rare variants like short barrel snubs or factory nickel finishes sell for even more. The new production runs have only increased the value of originals. Serious collectors now see the Python as essential. Number 2. Smith & Wesson Model 73. The Smith & Wesson Model 73 is one of the rarest production revolvers the company ever made. Manufactured in 1977, it was part of a limited experimental run using a floating firing pin design meant to improve safety. Chambered in .38 Special and built on the slightly modified K-frame, only about 5,000 were produced before concerns over the firing pin system led to most being recalled and destroyed. That leaves a very small number of surviving examples, and collectors have taken notice. Even well-used 73s can bring $3,000 or more, while boxed original condition pieces are essentially unicorns. With such a short production window and a controversial history, the Model 73 has become a sleeper revolver with skyrocketing potential.
Number 1. Manurhin MR 73.
The Manurhin MR 73 is often called the most precise revolver ever built. Designed in France for elite police and counter-terror units, it was hand-assembled with extreme tolerances, capable of enduring tens of thousands of full-power .357 Magnum rounds without wear. Every MR-73 came test-fired with a 15-round group at 25 meters, and many included the test target in the box. available in several barrel lengths and configurations. The Revolver's cold, hammer-forged barrel and its ultra-smooth action make it a dream to shoot. Though still produced in limited numbers, early examples with factory markings and original grips are steadily rising in value. Prices now start around $3,500 and continue climbing. Check out our next video, where we reveal the 10 oldest Western revolvers that never die.